I've always told Venki that I hopefully I don't play at any other franchise. I love it, my stay at KKR, so hopefully I start and finish here. I think it's a great achievement. I think you don't see, especially overseas players, really staying with one franchise over and over. Luckily, I'm one of them to continue playing with KKR, and hopefully I'll continue that in the future.
In your scheme of things, how do you look at that you could innovate with every passing year and be relevant in the scheme of things in T20 cricket?
I think it's based on practice and thinking about new things, especially with different variations. It's tough to outthink batsmen nowadays with so much cameras, so the most you could do is try and see what happens on the cricket field. I think what you practice, you put it in the game. So I think once you continue bowling to guys you're accustomed bowling to and still giving them slightly trouble, then I think game day is much easier.
How satisfying it is for you that even when the going is so tough, there is a lot of dew in the field, but you still manage to get that kind of a runs per over economy spell in?
I think it boils down to practice. I think over the last 2 years is probably the last 3 years is the most I've ever practiced in my life. So I think the more you do it, the more consistent you could be. But I think it just goes on form at the time. I think I'm feeling good about myself, so it helps. And based on the situation, if our team is going for runs, I just try to keep it as tight as possible. If we are doing good, I'll try to pick up wickets. So I think I bowl based on whatever is in front of me, so I don't really plan too much before the game.
Do you think what happened in 2020 IPL, it actually allowed you to, it actually pushed you towards practicing a lot more, training a lot more, because you had to rectify something and it was important that you rectify and you add newer variations, so you were practicing a lot more in the last 3 years because of what happened in 2020?
Yeah, what happened probably a few years ago, I think you could never be comfortable. I think you just have to continue practicing and practicing, because if you don't practice those things, it's easy to say I'm good and pack up your boots and just start watching cricket. So I think it was all on me to go out there and keep training and keep working on my game to try to stay relevant and try to get back where I was when I just started.
Which is your favorite form of dismissal?
I like getting LBW and bowl, because guys hardly chip, so getting someone stump early on was more often, but now it's way less. But I like when the guy thinks it's going the opposite way and it goes through the gate and he gets bowled.
That's a nice one. When you get hit for a 6, what do you tell yourself?
It's basically if I bowl a bad ball and get hit for a 6, I don't have to bowl a better ball. If I bowl a good ball and he hits for a 6, I don't really try to take too much into it. I try to bowl maybe the same ball, because batters don't really hit the same shot consistently over and over. They try something else. So I think all I try to do is keep it as simple as possible and let the batter probably try to do whatever they think they need to.
In all these years of IPL, who do you think has played you the best?
I'll probably have to say Sehwag. I've always found it tough, because he's a guy who keeps the game going no matter what situation the team is. He keeps batting Sehwag's way. So I think he's probably one of the toughest batters.
And which is your bunny? I mean, who comes into bat and you're like, okay, I'm gonna get him?
I wouldn't say I have a buddy or anything like that, but you have guys you feel more confident bowling, which I wouldn't say. I'll leave it as a secret and just continue trying to keep it as tight and getting wickets as possible.
In the 10 years journey, apart from the 2 years when you won the title, I mean, there are years when you got the MVP award, and that was for your all-round performance as well. If you have to pick a batting moment for yourself, what batting moment is closest to your heart in the IPL?
Definitely when I scored the fastest 50 at that time. I think opening batting was new, and guys were just bowling. They weren't planning, because they wasn't taking me as serious as now. So I think I was enjoying it, just having success and going out there and being able to do that, especially in IPL, which is probably the toughest T20 franchise cricket you could play. I think that was a great batting experience.
Final few questions. in this 10-year journey, your first few years, you had your father with you, and it was a very important aspect. We saw you through your Instagram feed as well that you were very close to him. Uh, from that time, I mean, would you like now also, like you have completed 10 years, how much do you think about him? How much do you say that, okay, you want to speak to him about the journey itself?
I think every time I play cricket, because he was so much of a big part of my life in cricket. If he wasn't that father, I don't think I'd have been playing much cricket. So I think every time I enter the cricket field or things are going or whoever it is, he's the first person that comes to mind.
Did he bowl to you a lot?
Yeah, even in the garage he'll bowl and say, just take my time. But when your head is hard, you don't listen as much. So that was a tough one.
Was he bowling bouncers to you with those plastic balls?
No. He wasn't bowling bouncers. He was more technical and always like being as technical as possible because he had books on Sunil. So he used to follow him a lot. So I think watching those kind of cricket, he'll try to instill certain things in.
I mean, it's a 10-year journey. You are on the verge of completing your 150th game for KKR. How do you look at the journey ahead? I mean, what are your dreams and aspirations as a guy in purple and gold?
It's a long journey, 150 games and continuing. My aspirations is to finish IPL in KKR colours, and hopefully after cricket join back the team as a bowling coach, because I've been doing so much of bowling and learning about your action, what helps, what doesn't help. So I think I'll get back into it as soon as possible, and hopefully the door is open and I could continue in KKR colours.
Becoming a dad, that make a lot of difference to you as a person and a player?
Yeah, I think becoming a father, you think differently. You're not as free flowing and free spending as you were, because you have to start putting things in place. Even when they're small, you have to think about when they want to go to college and those sort of things. So I think getting it started earlier rather than later. So I think it's a good thing, and it changes your mindset on life.
So no more of those suitcase full of chips and.
Definitely have to have it. I don't think that will stop until probably whenever. I think that's just the comfort of being away from home. Those things. So those are little things you have to try to still enjoy.